All right, everyone, welcome back into another Fantasy Golf video. Going to be breaking down the Worldwide Technology Championship, giving you guys my favorite outright bets, and we'll talk about DFS as well, breaking down my favorite core plays, giving you guys my first look build, and then we'll also take a peek at what the 9-to-5 lineup builder is telling us is going to be the best lineups for this week. So with that, let's go ahead and jump into it. And so, guys, my initial thoughts for this slate is that it will be a more difficult tournament to predict. The top-end golfers that we are getting are golfers that we haven't necessarily seen play all too much thus far this fall. Obviously, the more time off for a golfer, the more variance that is entered into kind of the data then. Same thing for this course as well. Course is typically a very easy scoring track, which leads to just more variance in the results. So not necessarily a week in which I think, from a DFS standpoint, it's going to be a week that we're going to attack too much, but I also think because of the variance, we're going to get some pretty good odds on some golfers, and I don't mind the idea of attacking some of the bets a little bit more. During the fall swing, it's been pretty good, guys. Over the last two events, ended up with a second place runner-up finisher in the last event, and then the event prior to that, we did end up with the winner. So hopefully we can kind of keep up that accuracy and give ourselves a chance at an outright win coming into Sunday. Now, one thing about this week is that we look at the course history, and we actually are getting a lot of golfers that do have some very good course history, which to me, when we see their recent form and their stat fit, that's actually what makes this week difficult. Like, all these players that have good course history are basically players that are in terrible form. And so that is concerning to me. I think that tells us basically everything we need to know about this week. It's just going to be a high variance week. Joel Dahmen, someone that's played extremely well at this track, has 6 straight make cuts at this event. Pretty crazy there. Matt Kuchar, really great results here at this event as well. We go down the list. There's just plenty of golfers here that have at least played this course a decent amount and played it well. But again, we could poke holes in basically all the plays that we're getting, which has really been the theme of the fall swing. Now, when we go ahead and take a peek at the key stats, guys, we are mostly just looking at the scoring stats, birdie or better percentage, and par 5 scoring. We need golfers that are going to be able to score at this track. And then we are looking at total driving. This is more of a longer track. Ball striking as well, you got to be setting yourself up for opportunities. If you want to look at stroke gain approach instead, you could have ended up looking at that. But with that, Kevin Yu, Rico Hoyer popping up as some of the better stat fits. Michael Thorbenson, Keith Mitchell, JJ Spawn, Ben Griffin, some of the pay-ups. All the top plays are the top stat fits, and they're all going to be in mostly good form. Again, in regards to like DFS, because of that, we're not necessarily getting great values, but because it's more open, betting-wise, we're going to get some decent options in regards to their odds. And then when we take a peek at the golfers that are in the best recent form, Ben Griffin and JJ Spawn, who we haven't seen since the Ryder Cup for those guys. And so just, I don't like that, actually. Like, that's just made them so much more risky plays. Now, had we seen them play this fall swing, or if this event had taken place more recently, I'd be much more inclined to get to Ben Griffin and JJ Spawn, but that's the difficult part about this week. We got Oleson looking like not a terrible play. Nick Taylor, someone that we haven't seen play all too much thus far this fall. Wyndham Clark, not exactly a guy I'm excited to get to. Matt Kuchar's been playing really well this fall swing, but also it's Matt Kuchar. Like, it's tough to get excited about him as a play. Although, as you guys will see, I do think he's going to end up being a good play for us. Rico Hoy, obviously playing some great golf. Over his past 7 starts, he's had 4 top 10 finishes. The issue with him is he has terrible course history, so that's a little bit annoying there as well. So lots of interesting spots, and let's go ahead and break down all those spots that we were getting. So as I mentioned, guys, yes, we could pay up for Ben Griffin. We could pay up for JJ Spawn. They are ranking out extremely well. Okay, when we take a peek at like the core plays, guys, they are the 2 core plays that we're getting on the board. Okay, so the data tells us they're going to be core plays for us this week. I don't see it that way, just because we haven't seen them play that much during the fall swing again. In terms of good outright bets as well, they are the 2 good outright bets, and that's where I'm much more inclined to get to them as outright bets here, guys. So when we're looking at their odds that we are getting, 14-1 for Ben Griffin on FanDuel, 15-1 on Bovada. I like into those spots a little bit more for him, and then same thing for JJ Spawn. But again, I just don't. I almost would rather take longer shot bets, because the chances of them showing up and being in the mental state to win, I think it's just less. Again, just because they've had a couple months off now from competitive golf. I'd rather get to someone like Rico Hoy, who I think is end up playing extremely good golf. He has played this track, again, only a 45th place finish. I like him much better at like 23 to 1 odds. And if we're looking for a pay up, it sounds weird, but I think I'd rather get to Rico Hoy, who's just been playing great golf. Gave himself a chance to win in the previous event, 2nd place, and then 5th place in the event after that. He's the player that I want to be paying up for. From there, I do like Siwoo. I'm fine with him. Michael Thorbenson, a little bit more appealing to me. Garrick Higo's been playing some good golf lately. Had a top 10 finish at this event previously. And then Kevin Yu, guys. Kevin Yu is basically the exact same play as Rico Hoy, stat fit wise. Form's been overall pretty solid. We've seen a bunch thus far this fall swing, and has been playing pretty darn well this fall swing, guys. 19th, 21st, and 11th place finishes for him. We like that. We can get him at about 29 to 1. 34 to 1 is the best odds that we're getting for him on Bet Online. So he is someone, to me, is pretty appealing. The data doesn't necessarily like him as much as I like him. But that's mostly due to the poor course history. And again, with this being a scoring track and he pops up as the best stat fit, I think we can kind of just look past that course history a little bit. And so if we're kind of looking at a lineup process as we are going to jump into the mid-tier, these are the two high tier plays that I'd be prioritizing. And I wouldn't mind Ben Griffin, JJ Spawn, or Max Graceman, or Michael Thorbenson. That's kind of how I'm prioritizing them. But again, guys, you could kind of poke holes into those plays. I'd rather be targeting golfers that have played throughout the fall swing. That's kind of what I'm leaning towards. And then we jump on into the mid-tier. I don't mind getting to Nick Taylor. He's someone I kind of feel is a safe play this week. If you want to bet him maybe to make the cut or top 20, I could see myself doing that. Although it's definitely not foolproof. And that's really where, after, to me, guys like Kevin Yu, we are seeing just like a big cliff where everyone, maybe not the best example, but after Kevin Yu, I feel like everyone else could basically be grouped together, okay? And just like a big, I guess a big like Venn diagram, if you will, where you could put in the middle half the field in that mix, where we have good plays that are easy to establish, Kevin Yu and up, and then we have a bunch of bad plays, which you guys will see there's a big jump off there, and then just a lot of other plays that are similar. So like Nick Taylor, Keith Mitchell, they could catch fire. I don't mind that, but to me, the play that like stands out the most in this range is Matt Kuchar at 8.2. And he's actually someone that I'm going to be considering more of a core play, but a core play in the sense that I want to go out of my way to target him. So he has been in good recent form, guys. We see 4 straight make cuts, 3 of those 4 being top 20 finishes. So we like that. Course history-wise has been pretty darn phenomenal here as well. He actually ranks out as the 3rd best specialist in the field, which further echoes that he's a good fit for this track. And so that's why I like getting to Matt Kuchar. And so he's someone that we could go ahead and put into the first look build. Now from there, I do think it's worth calling out. We got Nico, who is appealing. He's had some pretty good success at this course, top 10 finish at this tournament last year. And we have seen him play throughout the fall swing. Not a good result at the Pro Core Championship, but he's finished T38 and T9. This is someone that has had success at this track, so I don't mind potentially getting to him. And then Jacob Bridgman as well, missed the cut in his last event. Not a terrible miscut, guys. And then prior to that, was playing some pretty darn good golf. And he is someone that finished 14th at this event last year, so I don't mind him. Overall, not a terrible play. And then Jasper Svensson, just calling out, it does rank out top 10 in the 9 to 5 model overall, so the data is seemingly liking him, but more of like an educated dart throw. We jump down now into the low tier. Kanaya, not terrible, guys. 3 straight make cuts for him. Again, not bad. Austin Eckroat we could look at, last year's winner. Playing good enough golf recently. Definitely not checking all the boxes, but metric-wise, top 43 or better in all the key metrics that we're looking at, so not terrible. And then in terms of players that I'm going out of my way to target, guys, Vince Whaley was kind of the second player that popped up to me when we're considering his price tag. Okay, so he's made 16 straight cuts on the PGA Tour, which is crazy. At this event, has finished 55th, 59th, and 64th. Not great, but also he hasn't been terrible. And he also ranks out top 20 on the PGA Tour in terms of par 5 scoring. Overall, he's not the best at it, 22nd in the field, but also not terrible. Ranks out top 15 in recent form rank, top 15 in specialist ranking, and then overall ranking out as a top 10 play in the 9 to 5 mile. Both him and Matt Kuchar, I am fine getting to as outright odds. Obviously, you want to be making the best bets possible in regards to their outright odds. For Vince Whaley, you can get him at 81 to 1 on Bet Online, so really not a terrible option there. 70 to 1 on FanDuel. And how do we know it's a good bet, guys? Well, look at the different odds that we were getting here. 90 to 1 on Pinnacle, or almost 100 to 1 on Pinnacle. On DraftKings, 56 to 1. So we're just seeing some different odds. Okay. And again, that just further echoes that he's probably a good play. He's definitely a value on some of those sites in regards to our bets. And let's jump back into Matt Kuchar just so we can take a peek at his outright odds as well. And his odds are a little bit more in line with what you'd expect, but overall 56-1, not terrible. And then we look at some other plays, guys like Doug Gim. I don't mind. He's more of a shoulder shrug play. Same thing with Victor Perez, Mark Hubbard, Matty Schmid, Stephen Fisk. They're all basically the same play to me. I think they're all fine. In regards to values, I really don't think we're getting much. If you want to take a dart throw on Seamus Power, you could. Carson Young, if we're going to cheat a little bit and go up to 7,000, not terrible. But I haven't really seen a reason to dip down this low. Thomas Rosenmuller, not terrible, but also we don't necessarily need to get there. Snedeker, I don't want to target. Andrew Putnam's been kind of bad recently, but he is the second best specialist in the field. I think we could get a make cut out of him. David Lipsky, kind of the same thing there as well. Like, we have some okay punt plays, but no plays that I'm like, oh, this player gives me full confidence. And so for the first build, I will toss in Rosenmuller here, where I'm fine with it. We just see one bad round. Hopefully that doesn't continue. Prior to that was playing some good golf. Again, I'm not necessarily going out of my way to target him, but to get Whaley, to get Kuchar, to get you, to get Hoy, I think that ends up being a better route to go. And then from there, guys, Kanaya, I guess, as like a pay up. So it is ugly. Like, admittedly, it's not a good week. We'll see what the 9-to-5 lineup builder is looking like. And so, guys, just not really doing anything special. We're just going to toss in the 9-to-5 model rank and have it optimized just based off of that. We'll run 150 lineups, see what it tells us here. The top lineups is Thorbenson, Oleson, Kevin Yu, Victor Perez, Chad Ramey, and Grayson Siggs. So it is trying to punt at the end. I kind of like Power as a decent punt option, but I really don't mind the idea of punting at the tail end of this. Like, this probably will be kind of the GPP winning lineup format, and I don't mind doing that. And the one thing I might do myself is probably try to get to a little bit more of some of those top end plays that I like. And so, like, if we go to the high tier guys, I might try to like force in, let's say 10% of Ben Griffin, 10% of JJ Spawn, 15% of Kevin Yu, 15% of Rico Hoy, and then from there, maybe Thorbenson, probably about the same there as well. Ownership will be updating later this evening, just as an FYI. So, that's probably the route I'm going to go when I'm doing my lineups, and then just spreading the ownership kind of out among a lot of the golfers. So probably going like a max of 30%, because again, I do think it's going to be a high variance week. So I think that ends up being a good route to go for this week. Now, guys, that's going to do it for this video. Make sure to leave a like in the video, subscribe to the channel. If you guys would like access to any of the tools available at 9to5sports.com, including all the fantasy golf tools, head on over there. 9to5sports.com, you guys can get access to the fantasy golf tools, plus a bunch of the NFL DFS tools, NBA DFS tools, plus all the prop betting tools as well. That's going to do it for this video, guys. Appreciate you guys being here. Good luck. And as always, let's keep cashing.